I had a really good discussion with a student today, and we were talking about how, with the the hurricanes that are going through North Carolina and Florida right now, and the East Coast, there's a lot of people that are running out of food and water and shelter, and there's a lot of chaos and looting and violence and just this chaotic state of the world. And if you don't know a lot about disaster response and how the humans react to that, it's I mean, even regardless if you do understand, it's quite terrifying at times to understand that people are capable of doing, and this includes yourself. If you needed to, is it you versus them? If your family is out of water and you have no other options, could you get violent for something like that? I think it's important that we recognize that the answer is yes, because you've not experienced that before, most likely, because at least hopefully you've not been in a disaster like that, to where you had to fight for your basic fundamental human needs. But I want to kind of backtrack a little bit on that, because I feel like we had a great conversation with the understanding that humans are capable of some pretty crazy things that can bypass the human emotion of hurting other people or sacrificing one for another, and so on and so forth. But when it comes down to the end of the world, the shit hits the fan, and I say that, we've gone through some pretty horrific things lately, and to see what happens to society as it starts to break down, and whether it's certain areas or as a country as a whole, and where people get chaotic and don't know, like, look at all the toilet paper and the paper towels flying off the shelves. There were people fighting over that stuff and getting violent for toilet paper. What do you think could happen if it came down to water? Like, if you think about these hurricanes and things that are going on, and people are out of home, they're out of shelter, they're out of their basic needs. So what are they willing to fight for? Everybody's different. They'll fight at different levels for what is needed for them, and how much that matters to them is going to determine what level they're willing to fight. There's a certain aspect of this that I failed to discuss with her, though, and it's the aspect of community and building a good foundation around you, and making connections with other people in your life, that whether they're your neighbors, other family members, people at your workplace, but understanding that everybody can play a role in survival. And when you're trying to think of just self-preservation, you are only one person. If you have a family, obviously you get more help there and more ability to accomplish other things more easily. But then, like, think of, as you expand that out, and you essentially create a village, you're creating a community that is capable of cooperating and helping each other in many different aspects. So maybe you wouldn't need to fight for that water, because you could trade water for food, or water for shelter, or water for something else, a service or something like that. So, but you have to build that ahead of time. If things were to happen, and then you are reliant on your ability to talk to people after the facts, or build these relationships after disaster has struck, you're going to be met with a lot of resistance, because people are going to have a hard time trusting others. So I think there's always this aspect of, self-preservation. And if you've not thought about it ahead of time, and you've not built a good community to to rely on in case anything like that happens, then you might be left behind a little bit. And I feel like that you could be way better off if you had support. Look where we're at as a society. It takes everybody to make the world go round, and we wouldn't be where we're at if we didn't have experts in different fields and capable of bartering services and doing this or doing that. There was a time when we bartered services and goods for other things that didn't involve actual physical money. So we've done it before, we could do it again. but you got to get a jump on that stuff. What ways could you participate and help out a community like that? What do you have to offer? And then, I mean, really think about that in your circle around you, and build up the people around you to where you are creating a good community. And I think Lady Sentinel is, I had not considered it like this before, but that could be worst case, like nobody wants to think about worst case and things like that. And it's not like we live on the coast where hurricanes could be a thing, but what if we have another pandemic? What if we have what if war comes, like what if a foreign country decides to bomb us, or there's just chaos. We've experienced a lot of that lately, so I think it's not out of the realm of possibilities that we might need to rely on others. I'm not saying that the world's going to collapse or the country's going to collapse or anything like that, but I am saying that it takes a village, and the more that you build a community around you and you facilitate growth in people around you, and you all have a job to do. I mean, think about that. I mean, just look at your job, your career. What is your purpose with that? You might not have a career that you enjoy, but what's your purpose? It's more than just a paycheck to pay for your family and your lifestyle. It is giving back to society, to have a society that works together as a whole. So you can do that on a smaller scale, within your community, within your neighborhood, within your friendships, within Our Lady Sentinel. It's one of the reasons why I want people to be able to share the things that they do, and promote their own businesses within, so that way we can have a chamber of sorts, like a resource for others to look into in case they need something that is out of their wheelhouse. How can we help each other out? And look at that for your home lifestyle as well. Give your family members, your individual family members, jobs. Do you have family members that are good at sewing or cooking or gardening or building things, carpentry? Do they have a lot of tools and they're capable of fixing cars? Or do you have people that have the ability to defend with firearms? Or so what are people's skill sets, and what can they bring to the table? And then empower them to value that, and you value that too. It might not be in your wheelhouse and something that you find fascinating or interesting or anything like that, but we all got to work together to work to function. So society wouldn't be where it is today if we didn't start with our small individual tribes and go up from there, and look where we're at now. So we always have to keep that in mind, that we all work together, and it's not, it doesn't have to be survival of the fittest. It can be that it ultimately is survival of the fittest if it really came down to it. But there's a really good way to bypass that with the village aspect, at least give you a leg up. And so I just wanted to clarify. Hopefully my student will watch this, Lady Sentinel member as well. Hopefully she'll watch this, and just wanted to continue on our conversation a little bit and highlight some of those things, because I definitely don't want to create panic. And there's just a lot of things out there that can benefit our lifestyle that involve the reliance on other people. So anyway, have a good one.